Davante didn't even crack the top 20 last season. I gotta say, believe it or not, Davante Adams will be a top 5 fantasy receiver, Kyle, in 2020.
I'm going to take a shot, and I'm going to say yes. It's tough to say after what we just saw the numbers there, but it's really easy to say if you just watch Davante for one series in the playoffs last year. This is regular season stuff, but guys, against Seattle, that Packers playoff win, he looked like a first-team all-world, completely destroyed him, and then what will never get talked about is Davante was the Packers' best player in that terrible loss to the Niners. They couldn't stop him. That great Niners defense was getting eaten up by Davante. I still get the impression with him that he's getting better. I don't know, I think he's in his 6th, 7th year, and he's still spectacular. And if Mike Robb is anywhere close and Aaron Rodgers is going to beat all these youngsters for MVP, I think Davante is going to have about 30 touchdowns. So, yes, I think that would put him in the top 5 fantasy wide receivers.
I hear you, Kyle. 30 touchdowns. You got to have 30 touchdowns for Aaron Rodgers to win the MVP. I'm going to say believe it, yes. And because of the style of offense, right? Yes, they're going to run the ball a little bit more. I don't think Aaron Rodgers is going to throw for 6,000 yards or anything like that, but I think they will be explosive in the passing game. I expect Davante Adams to have, I don't know, over 1,400 yards, something like that, because they can be explosive in the passing game. They're going to lean on this run game with new running back A.J. Dillon and Aaron Jones, right? And then be explosive over the top. And this defense, we've seen last year, they've made tremendous upgrades with the pass rusher. So they now can kind of stop teams and play that game where if they score a lot of points, they can stop teams from scoring a lot of points. So, yeah, guys, I have to believe Davante Adams is going to be a top 5 fantasy football receiver because, yeah, Aaron Rodgers is going to win the MVP. I'll talk about it later.
Hey.
Love it. He was tied for 22nd in the league last year, and I think he had a great season last year, and Kyle's right. In that playoff game against the Seahawks, he was all over the field. The issue with me is that's not their offense. You mentioned it, Mike. Like, A.J. Dillon comes in, and he's not a scat back. A.J. Dillon is a 250-pound running back who they plan to pair with Aaron Jones and just drill you with the run game. That is what they did last year, and it would be going really against course for a 13-3 team to suddenly rip it up and say, no, now we're going to focus on Davante Adams as our focal point of the big, drives every game. I think he's a great receiver. He might be a top 5 wide receiver in the league. I don't see it in fantasy. I could think of a lot of teams that put up more points in the passing game and a lot of receivers who are going to get a lot more looks and targets than Davante Adams next season. Sorry, feel negative.
You guys know I love talking fantasy football, so I'll say he's going 3rd right now. 3rd. He is in the top 5 at NFL.com, all over in mock drafts. Let's not forget, even though it is definitely a concern that it's not their total offense and that volume might not be there, he was battling turf toe all of last year. This is a guy who missed 4 games, and he is, to Kyle's point, a receiver who's gotten better week after week, year after year. If you look at the 5 last games of the season, including the playoffs, he was averaging 122 yards a game. That's when he was feeling healthier, when he was getting better. So I don't put it past him to end up in the top 5, but I think where he's going at 3, you're not getting any value at the position given the questions brought up. But he's definitely